Welcome to another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Let's get started. All right, Dave, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. California Governor Gavin Newsom seems ignorant of this principle. And what is he doing? He's the governor of our country's most populous state. We're, ravaged with inflation. He wants to send out more inflationary stimulus checks. Working with the Democrats in the legislature, he reportedly wants to spend $11.5 billion in relief funds. Basically, this is money to buy the election. This is a gimmick. Right now, we have a problem here with the supply chain, and what he's going to do is make the demand bigger, and he's going to make the demand problem better or worse off because he's going to drive demand higher. So is there anything that can stop Newsom? You're there in California. What can we do?
Oh, Carrie. Well, I know it's been a tough couple of weeks for your boy Trump, but I don't know. Is this the best you can do? I mean, let me say a few things. First of all, when you look at the proportion, 11.5 billion for 40 million Californians, if you scaled that to what the American Rescue Plan was, that would be like giving Californians hundreds of billions of dollars. So it's a little hyperbole to say that this is going to be a little hyperbolic to say that this is going to cause huge inflation. Now, having said that, you and I agree that it's stupid policy. And first of all, Gavin Newsom does not have to worry about this election. And that's the irony. Who knew that 3 years after Kamala Harris seemed to be sitting on top of the world, that Newsom would be the one who's in a better spot right now? That's what you got to love about politics, how things can flip on a dime. But again, it's trying to buy votes. It's a waste of money. I think that money would be far better spent on programs that can actually directly help people. I'm a care, not cash kind of guy. I think if you give people money, particularly if they're in a bad place already, they're not going to have the discipline or the awareness to spend it wisely. Where if you can give them programs to help them for specific needs, then the money is much more wisely spent. I think we agree on that. Obviously, we might differ on, what gets spent where and for whom, but I think that's a pretty ironclad principle of anyone who's not a flaming liberal. So yeah, is it irritating? Yes, but is it going to make a difference on the overall inflationary spectrum? No, I think it's negligible. Your thoughts?
Well, I think he should, if he really wants to help inflation, he should give that money to cut taxes for businesses. That would be a supply chain solution. And then he should also reduce the regulation. California has some of the worst green energy mandates and policy, just incoherent policies that's harmful for energy production in the state. He should do away with that. That will be a much better solution for inflation than doing this. And then, put it away maybe in the rainy day fund. I agree with you that this is a waste of money. And not to mention, he's actually giving this money away to families who are making, I think it was like 200 or 250K for a single person, and then up to 500K for
it scales down to a small amount when you get to that.
Yeah, but 250,000 is. I know it goes a lot less in California, but it still ain't chump change. That is a significant income for anywhere in the country.
Yes, and I don't think anyone would say that it's not livable.
Right, exactly. And so you don't need this. There was a recent study just came out of the Federal Reserve in Atlanta showing the marriage penalty, as they call it, especially for poor single mothers, and how they showed over time it's a 13.7% more of these mothers. Just the impact of a marriage penalty, because your benefits get taken away if you marry the father. So the more of these benefits that we put in that discourage family formation, that's a problem. And this isn't a marriage specific thing, but in general, policy should not be about giving away free things. There's nothing free. It should be about equipping people and educating people so that they can create their own wealth and pass on a legacy. Because that's the thing is about these social programs, they're not designed to create a legacy, and people won't be able to create intergenerational wealth through them. And so what he's doing is just a gimmick.
No, I agree. And I think that, just to take a step back and offer some thoughts on California's tax system, contrary to popular belief, people are not moving out of California because of taxes. They're moving out of California because of living expenses, i.e., lack of affordable housing. California actually has a very progressive tax system. The regulations are over the top, but that's true in even a lot of red states. But what the problem with California's tax system is, it's overly dependent on personal income taxes, right? So you have half of the revenue comes from the top 1% of earners. Now, some of that is capital gains, which California treats as ordinary income. But the system where you pay progressively up to 10.3% over $1 million, and then you pay 13.3 over $1 million, I think is a very fair system. Because as I've always said, if you're making 5 million instead of 1 million, paying an extra 120,000 is not going to change your behavior. But the problem is that you're subject to the vicissitudes of the economy, right? So when the economy's booming, hey, everything's great. But then when the economy slows down, tax revenue slows down. But guess what? In a baseline budgetary system, things don't get cut, right? So this is what's happened over and over again. And that, to me, is the main problem with California's tax system.